In the world of mobile detailing, trust and professionalism are paramount. For passenger vehicle owners and business owners alike, finding a reliable mobile detailing company that prioritizes quality, safety, and compliance can make all the difference. One of the key factors in ensuring a trustworthy service is understanding the importance of insurance and licensing for mobile detailing operations. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Stephen Gautron, the owner of Starfleet Mobile Detailing. With his extensive experience and dedication to excellence, Stefan will share insights on why insurance and licensing are critical for mobile detailing businesses and how these elements benefit customers. Join us as we explore the essential aspects of choosing well-regulated mobile detailing service. So, Stefan, let's start with question number one. Can you start by explaining why insurance and licensing are so important for mobile detailing operations?
Well, insurances are important for any type of business. The issue with insurance for a lot of startups in the field of detailing is it's usually people without much experience in running a business. And so they try to get away with the most inexpensive equipment and try to get by with just getting their business insurance, which is just one of four that you would need to do mobile detailing. And some use their personal car to detail out of, and that can bring problems because if you do get in an accident and the insurance company finds out you've been using your car to haul equipment around, then it could become an issue for reimbursement.
Okay, now you mentioned types of insurance. So let's get into that. What types of insurance should a reputable mobile detailing company have, and why are they necessary?
Well, business insurance for liability, that's your basic insurance. You can't run a business without that. But when you get into car detailing, you also need you might not need a workers' comp if you're going to somebody's house. But if you're going to be going into commercial detailing, you need some type of workers' comp, some kind of insurance to cover you if you get hurt. And another insurance that you need to have is garage insurance, which most don't have. Now, garage insurance is what covers you when you work on somebody else's car. And that's very important because anything could happen. And especially if you're starting out as a detailer and you're trying to kind of get by on videos from YouTube and you're just buying inexpensive equipment from Canadian Tire, and then you're trying to start and learn and whatnot, and you're just trying to get off by just having a liability, well, it won't cover that car. And that's what you're working on. That's probably the most critical one to have. And it's not cheap. To run a business with garage insurance, it can run you a couple $100 a month just for that. Then you got to add your business insurance. And then you should have commercial insurance on your vehicle because you're running a business out of it. And so all those business insurance add up, right? So those are things that people don't really realize that they're necessary. They're a cost of doing business.
Now let's talk about your clients. How does having the right licensing and insurance benefit your clients at Starfleet Mobile Detailing?
Well, first of all, it protects them. So if something does happen, the last thing a customer wants is a lawsuit, right? So if you're in there, let's say you're at somebody's house and you're working in their driveway and then you trip and you fall and whatever, and you get hurt. So if you don't have the proper insurances to cover you, you're going to go after the homeowner, right? So the homeowner, what they're not realizing when they're hiring these people that aren't really businesses, they come to their house, they think, oh, it's no big deal, they're just washing my car. But there's so many things involved. You got a pressure cleaner, you've got an extractor, and you can get burned with that. You've got chemicals that could damage also the car they're working on. And so if you go on Facebook and you join a detailing group, you'll see all these people posting all the problems that they've had detailing. As I go up saying, no, this has happened. And, I was cleaning the dash with this product and it just turned white, like it bleached it, why? And so I'm just seeing all these horror stories happening. And most people don't see that because they're not part of a detailing group, but I see it. And it's just like, oh my goodness, and I feel bad for all these customers that have to deal with these amateurs working on their car because they think it's not a big deal. And I even had one guy, he was wanting to get into it. He used bleach water on a car. Like, you got
Oh my. So, that couldn't have gone well.
Well, I don't know what damage it caused, but just hearing that, like, why would that even go through your head? Like, you're not going to be eating off that car, you know? And so, yeah, just stuff like that people don't really realize that it could happen to them if they're not careful who they're hiring.
Right. Now, can you share any instances where insurance played a crucial role in resolving an issue for your business or for a client?
Fortunately, we've never had to use our insurance. We've had no accidents. Now, we've had some issues where a customer will bring a car in, and we had one. It was a company. They brought in a truck. I think it was a Colorado, and they are known. I did a search, and the screen for the infotainment there they have issues. They quit on them. Like, it could be any year, and so it just happened that it quit on us. And so, anyways, the customer says, "Hey, like, we brought you the truck. The screen worked." And so we're like, "Okay, not a problem." I did my due diligence, and sure enough, it's a problem. It's an issue. Like, it's physically impossible for us to break. Like, we didn't. The screen wasn't broken; it just wouldn't turn on, and there's no way for us to damage it. Like, it has to be internal. It's inside the dash. But you know what? We paid for it. We paid for our new screen because our reputation's at stake. Satisfaction guaranteed. So it actually solidified a relationship. Now there's no questions asked. They come to us all the time because they know they can trust us 100%. So yeah, sure, it costs us a little bit of money, but in the end, we have a customer for life.
Yeah, no, that's great. And, it shows that you really care about your business, you care about your customers, and everyone should feel confident coming to Starfleet Mobile Detailing for all their needs. Now, I don't suspect there'd be too many people who take advantage of that, but even if it does, you guys are looking at selling some franchises across the country. So with that in mind, just having that as one of your core values, I think is very important for the people out there who are looking for fleet detailing and looking for a company to really partner with.
Yeah, no, for sure. Reputation is very important, especially when franchising. You want a franchise or buy into a franchise that has a good reputation because you're buying into that reputation and the name, right? To help you grow your business in whatever city you're in.
Yeah. Now let's talk about some of the risks associated with hiring an unlicensed and uninsured mobile detailing service. What kind of risks are involved there for the client?
Well, like I mentioned before, I talked a little bit of the residents, right? So if you go to somebody's house, we talk about those issues. Now, if you go into a company, it's different in the sense that you're not even going to be able to step foot on their yard, right? They're not even going to hire you if you don't have those insurances because there's a lot more at stake. So you have a homeowner's policy that might be covered to $1 million. And then, so if there is something that happens, you get sued. If you do lose, the worst thing that can happen is your policy will go up slightly, right? But when it's a company and you go there and, how lawyers are, they're not just going to sue for the minimum. They're going to try to take the company as much as they can because they get a cut. And so obviously companies don't want to have to deal with that. They don't want to have to hire somebody that gets hurt. And then all of a sudden their insurance goes up and we're not talking about, a few $100s here. And so for sure, it's important to have those. And then the repercussions are pretty high. And so you're just not going to get work, plain and simple, unless it's a small company where, a guy or a couple guys with a couple trucks. Those, they might not care so much. But if you're talking about national companies like we work with, it's crucial.
So answer me this. How does Starfleet Mobile Detailing ensure compliance with all the local regulations and industry standards?
Well, unfortunately, there isn't really any industry standards per se. So, and I think that's why we've had so many issues in that industry of detailing is because there's no regulations. And so everybody has their own opinion on how to do things. And so we have a government contract for drug remediation. And they're the ones that stipulate what they want. Like there's no standard to go by. So whatever the government says that they want, that's what we do for them. Now, can you get some certification? For sure. You can get those extra, but unfortunately, it's just personal benefit. It doesn't really open doors to getting jobs because, like I said, it's not regulated by the government.
Right. So really what you're doing with Starfleet is you're setting the standard for mobile detailing excellence. That's
right. So fortunately for us, when we do go into a yard, the first thing they do is they give us the list of their regulations. So they're pretty well similar. All the companies have certain things that you got to abide by, and that's good. One example where it differentiates is we have two companies where you're required to have a hard hat to work on the yard. And so it's kind of awkward, I'll be straight with you. When you're detailing inside a car, wearing a hard hat is very cumbersome. And you don't drive in a car with a hard hat on. And sky falls on you, you're dead. Helmet's going to help you, right? And so it's kind of overkill, but we have to do it. Unfortunately, it's just two companies that we work with that are like that. But the other things like steel-toe boots, gloves, and goggles, all those, the proper PPE for the job. Obviously, we get trained as a franchisee, get trained in all that. You know how to be safe when you're working on something. Some vehicles that we've worked on, container, I forget what the name of the vehicle is, but basically they move the big containers that are on the train or that come off the boats. And so those vehicles, the cabins are fairly high. I think they're 8 feet up in the air, so that when they're lifting these containers, they can actually see where they're going, right? So we have a staircase, there's a platform, and you got to have your 3 touch points and for safety. And so those are the things that you get taught as well. And I can guarantee you that your regular detailer that just learned off of YouTube will not know those things. But and here at Starfleet, we teach you all the safety protocols that you need to know so that you can be safe on job sites.
Awesome. So what advice would you give to vehicle owners about verifying the insurance and licensing status of a mobile detailing company?
Well, for sure, go check the website. If they don't have a website, don't even bother. If they can't afford to have a website, then they're really small time and they're not going to have the right insurances. But if you go on their website and you see nothing referencing their licensing or their insurances, then it's most likely that they don't have it. You can always call and ask, and they might say yes, but that's not enough. Maybe ask for a copy, even a copy of their license, their business license, because not everyone has that. A lot of people working under the table. I would venture to say that most probably that are just one-man operations don't really operate like a business, unfortunately.
Yeah, so just working for cash.
Yeah.
All right, now talking about training and certifications, how do you handle training and certifications for your team to maintain high standards in your mobile detailing services?
Well, if we're hiring somebody, so I'm not talking about franchisee, but if we're just hiring somebody to work for us, they go through 2 weeks of training. But we only hire people that have experience, because what we're trying to do is not teach them the trade. We're trying to teach them how to be safe and how to excel as a detailer, because a lot of companies have problems when it comes to the detailing. It could be excessively dirty. It could be somebody smoked in the vehicle. Nobody can smoke in company vehicles. I don't know if it's a law, but it's definitely a rule that every company seems to have. And so they might have smoke remediation, transportation trucks, so like sleepers and day cabs. Sometimes they could be sitting in the yard for a couple of months. Mice might get into their cab and wreak havoc. So we have to deal with those kind of things. And so those are the things that we teach our employees, but also the franchisees. When they come in and buy into the franchise, we teach them how to excel as a detailer. So what we do, the problems that we resolve, most detail shops don't even want to hear about it. They just want the easy buck and quick in and out, and they're going through volume. But we're really trying to help people out and resolve issues. And so that's what we excel at. If you go on to our reviews, you'll have people that brought us spilled paint, mice, infestations, or smoke remediation, whatever the cause is, and they're super happy when we're done. I had one customer had spilled a gallon of milk in the back seat, and oh boy, it was horrible. Like the smell was just unbearable. And they actually had tried to clean it themselves. So it's not like a gallon of milk stayed there. But if you don't do a proper job, you got to get the right enzymes to eat up the protein and all that. And so obviously they didn't do that. They brought it to us, and we were able to make them happy and get everything out as much as possible without having to actually replace the carpet.
Wow, that would be awful. We've had milk related incidents in vehicles before, and it doesn't smell very good in a short amount of time.
That's right. It was a big long. 3 days.
Yeah. So can you discuss the peace of mind that comes with hiring a fully insured and licensed mobile detailing company?
Well, when a company hires us, basically knowing that we're fully insured, they just have to worry about us doing a good job, right? So we go in there and we do the detailing for them. And then once they see, okay, these guys are professionals, they know what they're doing, they did an excellent job, and it didn't cost me an arm and a leg, well, basically you've got the customer, right? And the nice thing about the thing with the shop manager, they're responsible for the shop. They got a whole bunch of people to worry about, jobs that have deadlines and whatnot. And so not having to worry about us and our work, and just being able to say, there's the vehicle, and then just go back to their daily job, just takes off so much pressure and anxiety off of them. So they appreciate us. They're like, okay, we don't have to worry about these guys. These guys know what they're doing, and they just, we sign in, we do our work, we're gone, and then when we bill, everything's automated. So they just love it.
Now, what kind of feedback have you received from clients regarding the professionalism and reliability of your insured and licensed services?
Well, the feedback that we get is they're just happy. So, some companies, they tell us the best service they've had, and not to worry that they'll never go to anybody else, because they just appreciate us so much. And that's kind of nice to hear, because it knows that we're doing something right. And we've just been growing and growing every year. And that's why we decided to go into franchising, because a lot of these companies are national companies, and they would like to have us do work in other cities. And of course, being centered in Edmonton, we can't travel all over the country. It wouldn't make any sense. But by franchising, we're able to actually go into other cities and start helping these companies out where they're at, because detailing is a must in transportation. You can't get away from it. There's too much at stake. The value of all these vehicles, and some companies, you go into their yard, they have millions and millions of dollars of vehicles, whether they're crew cabs or they're heavy equipment or whatever. And so it's important for them when they go and auction those, they get top dollar, or if they're bringing them back to their leases, that they also get top dollars.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And now for anybody who is wanting to get into mobile fleet detailing and is interested in a franchise from Starfleet, what should they do?
Well, if they go to our website, if they go to our website, starfleetdetailing.com, well, that website has a link there that they can go to our franchising website, and then they can just fill out the contact form, and we'll reach out to them probably the same or the next day.
Perfect. Thanks so much for your time.
No, my pleasure.